Here is my audience for my introduction speech. And then here are my 2 note cards. What is the first thing that comes to mind when we think about the most American condiment? If you're like most people, the first word that comes to mind is ketchup. From barbecues and picnic tables to dining room tables and refrigerators. Almost every American household has a bottle of ketchup available. My name is Heather Sellers, and today I'm going to introduce you to the history of ketchup. Something that is interesting, given that we're talking about it as an American staple, is that it doesn't actually start in America. The word ketchup comes from ketchup, which is a Chinese word for fermented fish sauce. So we start in China, which according to National Geographic and Saturday Evening Post are 2 of the sources that talk about this. How, though, did it get from China to America? In China, or in some of the Chinese and Asian areas, there are British colonies. The British colonies in Singapore and Malay Peninsula brought to us, when they brought home to Britain, they brought home samples. The samples of the fish sauce they wanted to recreate, but not knowing that fish was a base ingredient, they added other ingredients, mushrooms and walnuts. So according to the Smithsonian, the British brought these to America, introducing these additional ingredients, taking away the fish sauce, adding in mushrooms, adding in walnuts. But again, how did we get to America? And how did we get to tomatoes? So according to the History Channel, different recipes, we moved from the walnuts, we moved from mushrooms. We're adding in tomatoes from the horticulturist James Meese being credited for adding tomatoes, ripe tomatoes specifically, because it enabled long-term storage and shipment of a product. So you could go to the colonies, you could go to the different areas, you could ship to America and from America for the long sail ships. Once you get past the American status, who's responsible for ketchup being a household name? We think Heinz as the creator of ketchup. We start with Heinz, but in actuality, there was a man named Jonas Yerkes, according to Philip Honey, who wrote a Spruce Eats article, who is responsible for selling the first bottle of ketchup. Heinz took over this production and they mass marketed it. They mass marketed a product that has become a household name. So while Heinz is the most often thought of responsible party for making it, they're not the only one. Keep in mind that around the world, there are other companies that make it as well today. What is it that makes ketchup American? So we understand how it got from China to Britain. We understand how it got from Britain to America. But what is it with that global background that actually makes it an American staple? 3 words from a Smithsonian article: quick, easy, convenient. Those are 3 words that are pretty standard for the American thought process. We want to be able to do things faster. We want to be able to do things easier. We want it to be convenient. We want to know that everything else that we have to do in our day-to-day isn't going to have to be put on hold to make our hot dogs and hamburgers taste better. Exports are another aspect of what makes ketchup an American product. Not just products that are made in a country get that status as a national icon. It is what is considered a cultural icon. And ketchup has that status. Americans are responsible for introducing the tomato. Americans are responsible for making it mass-produced. And Americans are responsible for making you think about ketchup when you think about a 4th of July barbecue. So those exports to Canada, to the EU, they start in America, and then they broaden from there. With that said, keep in mind that while ketchup is an American staple, it has a broadly global history. It comes from China, it comes from Britain, it comes back to us here in America, and then we send it out into the world. So all of these different recipes that are available, all of the different passes that it's gone through, today, let this brief history of ketchup introduce you to so many more pieces of information that are available to a tomato-based product. Thank you. I'm Heather Sellers.
You're glad.